How do you turn around $1 million+ risk into a 2 million profit revenue, securing your next promotion, and in the process of doing that, helping your direct report develop? That's the wonderful challenge I had the honor to work with an executive to achieve, and that I would like to share in our life today. Hey, my name is Judith Glory, and it's such a pleasure to be able to join you today to hear about another success story of how coaching with a system to ensure guaranteed result can make a difference for a leader, for an organization, and their team. Today, I invite you to hear about the story of Sam, we'll call it Sam, because of core competency one as a coach is confidentiality. So we will call this leader Sam, but their real name wasn't Sam. And I say, if you have the opportunity to work with me in the process, you can have the opportunity to connect with Sam. Sometimes people I have worked with are willing to share their experience. But let's hear about this VP in health industry having like 7, 8 direct reports and a total of about 1,000 people reporting to him, who found himself in a very delicate situation. Sam came to me for coaching because in his mid-year review, great performer, a track record of delivering on results. Actually, he was identified as the next person to take over the SVP when the SVP would retire, which was in just couple years to come. So this person had a great reputation, had a track record, was delivering. But in the mid-year review, he's in trouble. Why? What's happening to the high-performing Sam? Well, Sam has on his team, he was a VP, he had a director who was not doing well. So when he has his mid-year with his leader is like who is the SVP who will retire in couple years. Sam, I really enjoy working with you. I'm so glad all the leadership knows what a great, a high potential, an exceptional executive you are. But it will be hard for us at the end of the year to confirm you as the obvious replacement of the SVP if the situation doesn't change because your director of operation is kind of late. There are some things going on in the operations that are affecting the results. In fact, we have over 1 million that are late in delivery, and that could cost even more because I said it's health industry where there are some conformity and audits they have to go through, and if they don't pass these audits, they could have some sanctions, some things to pay, and they were coming close to that place, to that time when they would get sanctioned, and the director who was in charge of that was not doing well. You may say, whoa, how did Sam allow this to go through? Just open the slides. But before the end of the video, you will learn exactly what Sam did. So it's a story of even if you are in a tough place, you can turn things around. And we will see that the compliance risk that was over Sam could have cost him about 1.5 million. And how did Sam turn things around? I told you about the mid-year. Yeah, imagine in your mid-year, you've been having a wonderful year and you know that, well, you are the obvious replacement. You are in line. As soon as your manager will announce that they're going on retirement, you will move from VP to SVP. You know that is coming for you. But then you have this discussion where you're told, oh, you better switch things around. You need to change things because with the risk, with the operation, things may change. And things may change not just that you may not be the obvious replacement for SVP, but your career, your promotion, your bonus for this year could be also online. You can see that the situation for Sam was really high stakes. It was he could lose being the obvious replacement. He could have the money he received as bonus be reduced if he didn't turn things around. So what did Sam do? I announced that from a 1 million plus risk to a 2 million benefit. How did he do that? Before delving into how he did that, that's when I met Sam for executive coaching. That's when we started. And as we discussed, it was obvious, it was clear that Sam knew his job. I mean, this is someone who shoots for excellence, discussing with them competence, skills, processes, experience. He had it. So, in the coaching with Sam, it was like, what do you think is causing all of this? And the answer of Sam was, well, I think the director of operation maybe just needs some help with being more productive, checking on his teams. But even in the way they were answering, one could see that um, there was more to that. And these are some of the things that you will pick if you do like masterful level, where you listen between the line. It's not just what the leader is telling you. If you want some hints on how to do that, go and check the MCC series we did since the beginning of the year. So as we did coaching, I could pick that there was more going on. And as I challenged Sam on like what is he not saying, if it's just a matter of productivity or following up, Sam acknowledged that, well, he's been doing passive management because he is the one who hired that director of operations. So, and because it was kind of a friend, they had worked previous in the previous company, they had done some work before. He knew that this director was not on top of his game, but he thought things would get fixed. He hoped that things would get better by themselves. Do you recognize what I have been calling the hope strategy? If you're watching this and you are an executive leading high performing team with high stakes, you know that you cannot lean on the hope strategy. You know that really hoping that your direct report will turn things around in general doesn't guarantee that you get the results you need. And at this level, being told that being the obvious replacement for his manager and that his bonus could be at risk here, he couldn't continue to just hope that things would turn around. He couldn't hope that things would just turn around. So, what did we do with Sam? We discuss and I ask questions to help go deeper. And I want to pause here and say, in general, I see this a lot in coaching where leaders, they're great, the day to day managing thing. And I want to call your attention, if you are a leader, director, and more, move from being an operator, even if you're operating your department, your division, to being an architect. What's the difference between the operator and the architect? The operator is like the day to day, and you will hear that coming in coaching. Oh, this is happening. This is like the leader is reactive. Another language that is used for this is being reactive, being proactive versus reactive. So the answer of Sam to say, well, I'll check, follow up with him, that he also watches over his team. That's handling the thing at hand. But what was causing this director of operation to be late? What was causing him and his teams not to be on time for the audit or to switch or make the corrections that have been asked of them? So, as we dug deeper to go and identify the root cause, which is again something I insist, if you're watching this and you are director plus, hey, don't just get things happen day to day. Think bigger picture, take balcony view, go higher up. Instead of fixing, like in the case of Sam, okay, I want to encourage him to be more productive, give resources, encourage him. What is causing that? And as we dug deeper in coaching, what came out was clearly Sam was not up for the task. Yes, the director that Sam hired was not up to the task. And Sam acknowledged that. That's why as I saying something, the underbelly, something he was not saying, when I dug deeper as a masterful coach, you're not afraid to challenge, to go deeper, to address what you're saying. More details on that, go and watch Masterful series. But as I did that with Sam, it came up, well, Julie, I'm feeling bad because this director, I am the one who hired them. I am the one who brought them from where they are. So I thought, because I've worked with them before, they were great, they were doing so well. I thought they would do well here. But it was a different culture, different organization with a different pace, different ways of working. So as we went deeper, well, what do you want to do now that you realize this may not be the right person for this fast pace and the role they are in? It was painful. I could see that on the face of this leader, but clearly, if they wanted to turn things around, to have the audit corrective actions completed, they needed to change this leader. And this was not the only person. Like the real thing that was happening with Sam, he was kind of in a passive management because I told you he had 8 direct reports because one was taken away. He had 8 direct reports, and on the 8 direct reports, like two were not performing well. The one that Sam hired, who was a big cause of all of this because of the audit thing, which is the reason for the risk of 1 million we talked about. And there was another person, they didn't hire them, but they were reporting to Sam. So these two people were not on the top of their game, and Sam had to do something with it. In the executive protocol, the work we did with this person, identifying the root cause, we had to partner with Sam to create alignment. And these are the key elements that we use in the executive protocol. And as you can see here, there are three key things that help move Sam forward: embracing courageous conversation, and insist on that alignment. If I have to correct the 1 million plus, if I have to make things land well before the end of the year to continue to be the obvious SVP, he needed to align his resources. So these were the three key things we focused on. In the executive protocol, we focus on something for a quarter. So when in that coaching conversation, we landed on one, there are two directors that are not at the level they're supposed to be. So for the next quarter, what do we focus on for the next, as I say in the executive protocol, guaranteed 90-day progress. So when I ask for the next 90-day, what progress do you want to report on? These were the key things we focused to work on. Embrace Candor, having courageous, difficult conversation with the two leaders that needed to up their game, and then align talent. Who were the good replacement, who could help bring the teams where they needed to be. So there was talent alignment, and then the courage to just move with it. When we see replacing a leader at a director level, so that it's not an easy thing that you just click and then it happened. But when Sam did the reflection and it was clear to them, one, two people are not at their place. I better align them if I want to learn where I want to be and ensure my burn is that of the team and be the obvious SVP replacement. He had the courage to move forward. He had the courage to move forward. As a consequence, there were two key things. That he did. And this is like one quote that they did at the end of their coaching. Sam said, I realize operational excellence it's not about being perfect in the processes, but also the courage to do the alignment. This is like one quote that they made at the end of their leadership coaching with me. And this is a key and important thing. Maybe I'm not supposed to stress the production and say, go, 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 but I want to stress on it. Courageous conversation. If you are a leader, if you are an executive in a high stakes role, you cannot afford to let low performance linger. You cannot. You simply cannot. And if, even if you are empathetic, or if you are you respect people, you don't want to hurt them, courageous conversation will do good to you, to the leader, to the teams they're leading, and to the organization. It's really painful to see all the organizations suffering and how much money is being lost because the leader do not have like the backbone, as Maribeth O'Neill says, to have this courageous conversation and make courageous decisions. But with Sam, having identified that the goal for this quarter, this needs absolutely to happen for them to end the year well, he had the courage to have the discussions with their leaders, and you will see the two strategy that he implemented. Pillar number one, well, he had to discuss with the leader who was not delivering, the one in charge of operations, and he was put on a PIP. He was put on a PIP. It was a 90-day PIP. It was first 30 days, then turned into 90 days, and before the end of the 90 day, the leader was out because it became clear, it became obvious, and this director admitted that yeah, it was a struggle for them. They were anxious, they had actually lost sleep. So the courageous conversation allowed Sam and his direct report to see it was best for them to part ways. The second strategy, as you know, Sam didn't just have one low performer, he had two of them. The second one, I wanted us to dig a bit deeper with there, because in this case, um, when they had the discussion, it came out clear that this other director who was not performing well, it was more that the role they had didn't match their special skills. This was someone into operations and project, but they were exceptional communicators. I mean, in most of the QBR, in most of the leadership meetings, they were the one presenting. So they were exceptionally good at communicating, inspiring, and having the discussion, and them acknowledging that it's not their forte. Sam could work with the second director ways for them to join the team of communication. So, as Sam did the work to align the talent with their skills, with the position in the organization where they could play better, she removed bottleneck and could replace them with top performer, top guns, people who could play fast. And it's of no surprise that as they had the courage to do this, to focus, to clear the bottleneck, to replace them with good people, couple months down the line, one could see the results. Let's discuss a bit about how things transform. So we say director number one exit. He was put on a PIP. Month one didn't go well, a little extension, and then they said no, it's not working, and they left. Exit strategy. And the second director, as I said, they were moved into the communications team where they were thriving. The team loved their ideas. It was like you just put a fish in the water. And this is another point, another place where maybe I'll stop and talk to you. If you're watching this, is your talent aligned to their strengths? Are they doing their best work using what they do best? In this specific case, it made the difference. And if we come back to the protocol, this is the part asset in the care. As we take the time to identify the assets, you remember assets that you have as a leader, that your team has, that your organization. This is the aspect of the protocol that helps Sam for director number two. It was clear as we did the exercise, they realized that, oh, yeah, this person is an exceptional communicator. And there might be, it was easy for them to make the fit. And as that leader was redeployed in the communication team, everyone in the organization could say, oh, that's like a fish in the water. It suits them well. As a consequence, now Sam has replaced the low performer with good player. Let's go and see the benefits. 3 months they did the change, and after they are back online because the new people, the new leaders that were hired to replace these two people, they were able with the team to bring the audit, the corrective actions that were asked at the operations to be on time. And the new person that replaced the one that went into communication, they had a good team and they functioned well. So at the end of the year, when Sam did his performance review, his manager was glad. His manager said, "Good job turning things around. We don't have, the fear of falling under the spell of the compliance thing. Now we're back online. There's no kind of corrective actions expected of us." This is like about 5 months after the original conversation. Things had turned. He had a good year, good performance review. And as we are talking like right now, Sam is now an SVP because after that year, things went well. He had a great performance review. So him and his team, they had their bonus. And later on, after SVP left, he is the VP. Like if you are in the executive protocol and you want with your permission, I can connect you. So this is how this leader was able to turn a 1.5 million risk into a 2.5. You may say, "Oh, gee, where is the extra 2 million coming from?" They had the risk of 1.2 if they didn't complete the corrective actions after the audit. The 1.3 million is when they replaced the other leader who was on the project side. There was some acceleration on on her own team. So the project was delivered faster and the risk of 1 million was turnover. If you put that together, it's like 2.5 millions that this coaching, executive coaching assignment helped the organization to save. And I want to talk to you. I don't know what is your challenge, but no matter the depth, how complex, how fast paced, how quick, you can also turn things around like that if you have a clear system. And this is what we do in the executive protocol. I wanted to bring a little summary of the key things that Sam did to turn things around. I hope I can find the slides. Yes, yes, yes. So, how did Sam succeeded to make a 2.5 million turnaround? Well, number one, diagnosing, and this, like if you've been watching the videos in the couple months, I'm talking a lot about know the money, where is the money, see the money, follow the money, be clear. If you are not able to talk to discuss the financial risk with your role, with your team, with your assignment, maybe you're not a fit for the executive protocol. And I'm sure you're not at that high level because when you know you're responsible for P&L, there's an amount of millions of money that you are responsible for. You better guarantee that the organization gets or save that money, or your role could be at stake. So if you're watching this, I feel like look in the camera and ask you, where are you with the money you're responsible for to create or to make the company safe? Where are you with that? If we come back to Sam, these are the key things we did. Diagnosing what was going on. He's told, "Oh, we could be in risk because if we don't finish with the corrective actions from the audit, we could lose 1.5 million." And when the risk was clear, the next step is what is causing this, identifying the cause. And please refrain from just the surface thing. And it is for step two that an executive coach will make the difference. Because the executive coach will not take your answer at face value, you drill deeper. A masterful coach will bring you down so that you can really touch the deep thing going on. Because if you just come and correct, if you just come and crop, if you just come and touch the surface, what is causing it down will sprout again and you will be back there a couple months down the road. So with Sam, We identify the risk. Step number two, identify the root cause. And then the third thing was, okay, courageous action. So when Sam knew clearly my direct reports, he made the courageous, even hard decisions, moving talents around, exit one, and redeploying talent in a place where the strengths will be better leveraged. And as a consequence, they achieved the win. So that was the story I wanted to share again. And I wanted to say, just as Sam did and was able to make like 2.5 million for his organization, a huge health organization, leading a team of 1,000 with 8 direct reports, you can as well. A quick summary here: 2.5 financial gains. He could also, beyond the gain, he was able to secure his own promotion. We like to grow. I want to get ready. I don't know what skills. In general, we like to talk about skills. We like to talk about what else do I need to grow. And I feel I look at you in the eyes and say, okay, for that next thing you're eyeing, what money part can get you there? What money demonstration? What have you put? What results, money results have you put in the table that you can leverage to ask for that promotion? It is much easier when you can let data around money justify your promotion. We can talk some more about that if you're interested. So, 2.5 million turnaround, secure his path to become an SVP, better organization for the team, because as he redeployed the leaders, the directors, one person could flourish in another department, and the one who was low performing was replaced by another one. At the end of the day, the team were better optimized for results. So this was a great result, a great outcome for the organization as well. And as Sam had the courage to lead, to make courageous decision, he had up his leadership game, because he was not a pleaser, less a pleaser, but he saw the power of courageous conversation, courageous decision making, and yeah, courageous action. So this is what happened for Sam. If you watch this and this speaks to you and you think, oh, there's some aspects of the story of Sam that I relate to, well, we would be so happy to help also craft your turnaround story to help make things different for you. And we do that in the executive protocol. You can use the link now. I'm live, but right after the live, I'll put the link for you to just apply to see if we are a fit. The executive protocol, that is a system we put in place to ensure that every 90 days you have a progress to report on your remit, on the amount of dollar, on the money you are responsible for. Because of that protocol, when we had the conversation with Sam, what is your focus for the next 90 days to ensure things turn around? That's where we came up with the slides I showed a couple minutes ago. As we did with Sam, we would love to do with you. Feel free to reach out, use the link, or just send us an email or send a comment below the video. It was a pleasure. I love to tell this kind of story because they show that coaching works. They show that you can grow as a leader. They show that as a leader, you can make measurable data, money impact in your role for your team and for the organization you're responsible for. I'm Judith Glory, and it was such a pleasure to share this story with you. You like this kind of story? Let me know, and I'll keep them coming. There's a special aspect of the story that you want to hear more about. Let me know so that in designing the video, I'll insist on talking about that. Until next time, it was a pleasure. See you next time. Bye.